So we had a glimmer of what the bull market will look like if and when it comes. About a week ago, about 10 days ago, prices were soaring. Now, if you had been listening to my video, I said now is a really good time to buy Solana. And when I said that, Solana was hovering about $9, $10 a coin. It has since doubled. It has since shot up to past 20. So you would have doubled your money had you listened to me. I know I did. It was basically a no-brainer. There was nothing really to think about. Why? Because price is a snapshot of sentiment about a project in a given time. That's all price actually is. Sometimes it is an indicator of the underlying value. Sometimes it is not. When it is not and there's a discrepancy, that is a really good potential opportunity. So let's say, for example, Apple selling at $120 a share, whatever it is nowadays, drops 60% to $50 a share. But nothing fundamental about Apple had changed. The business is still, there was some sort of temporary thing, like two plants, got hit in China. And so the investors were nervous and they sold off all their Apple. Generally speaking, when people get nervous about things, the phenomenon is known as oversold. That's clearly what happened with Solana. There were people on Twitter who were saying Solana's dead and buried, Solana's gone. These people, I guess, have no idea how value is actually created in crypto projects. That's where your opportunity lies. People don't really understand crypto. It's not an exact science, but the best indicator of overall value in crypto is daily active users and total use case. How many users overall, how many daily active users, and are there a lot of dApps being built on the project? Is the network being built up really quickly? Particularly with the layer ones I'm talking about. So with a layer one like Solana or Ethereum, the best overall indicator of value for the long term is how many users total, what are the daily active users, and how many projects are being built on the network. In that metric, nothing had fundamentally changed about Solana. It was still second only to Ethereum in terms of how much total activity was taking place on the network, which means it was a no-brainer. Once in a lifetime buying opportunity for one of the key marquee projects, because everybody had, decided it was trash, but nothing had changed. Yeah, there were a couple of high-profile NFTs that jumped ship and went somewhere else. I think they went to Polygon or maybe Ethereum. I don't remember where they went. But that's about it. And that drove the price down a little. The only thing to keep in mind when sentiment is turning against a project is the phenomenon is known as oversold. It almost always happens. People just all of a sudden hate on it like crazy and they can't sell it fast enough. And that's already what had happened to Solana. Now, I thought it could still drop more just based on negative momentum. I could easily see it have gone down to 3 or 5, but then it would have been even better opportunity. Like I said, I bought it at 10, doubled my money without even thinking about it. Didn't even hesitate. Why? Because it was so obvious. It was a no-brainer. There was nothing to think about. Nothing fundamental had changed about Solana in terms of the overall dApps being built, the overall use case, how many total users, and how many daily active users. Like I said, second only to Ethereum last time I checked, which means it's still being used a lot. So that was a no-brainer buying opportunity. Now, I still say it's a good buy up until about 50. Then you want to hold it at 50 and hold it for the long term. But, the opportunities like that don't come, in the actual stock market, opportunities like that almost never come. In crypto, they happen fairly frequently because sentiment is really, really, can turn just like that. In actual stock market, in order for something to have dropped 60%, that's usually a sign that the overall business is in trouble. If it's not, then it's a killer buying opportunity. But it's rare that happens, that something will drop 60%. It has happened with Tesla. It's happened frequently with some of the, some Amazon is down a lot, Tesla was down a lot, Nvidia is down a lot. So a lot of the high-profile growth stocks have, dropped precipitously, and nothing all that fundamental has changed about their business outlook. So I say those are pretty good buying opportunities too. But in crypto, it happens all the time. Something will drop 40, 50% just based on, everybody hating it. All of a sudden, everyone, with Solana, it was heavily involved with the SBF scandal. They had actually been pumping Solana. That's how it got up as high as $200. $250 was its peak. So there you have it. But what you got a glimmer of, the overall, the crypto market will recover. Now, we might not be in a bull market yet. We might be in a holding pattern for the next few months. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But that's what you see, what a glimmer of what the bull market actually looks like. Things shoot up 30, 40% just like that. Things double in a week. Double in a week. When I said buy Solana, it doubled in literally a week. That never happens in the regular stock market. Happens all the time in crypto. So you would have doubled your money. At some point in the next 5 to 6 months, we will be back in a bull market again. Why? It's almost inevitable. The name of the game in crypto is without these random black swan events, which nobody can predict, like Sam Bankman-Fried and Luna, which were part and parcel of the same phenomenon. Actually, Sam Bankman-Fried had a lot to do with what happened with Luna, just so you know, if you didn't know that. But those type of things are going to, those are going to happen, and nobody knows when those are going to come. But overall, other than that, the long-term trend in crypto is pretty much written in stone. More and more people are going to be adopting it. It's going to be more and more mass adoption. There's going to be more and more headlines about, Google inks a deal with Polygon, Google, Facebook, or what was it? I think Instagram inks a deal with Solana. You're going to see more and more corporate buy-in, more and more mass adoption, and more people using the projects, which just means value going up and up and up. So nothing fundamental has changed. It's basically going to be, absent these black swan events, crypto is just set to really do well in the next 4 or 5 years, like really do well. Triple at least, easily get back to where we were, 3 trillion total market cap, and then get up to 5 trillion, then 7 trillion. That could all happen with the next 3 to 4 years. Inflation could put a damper on it, but there's a lot of theories out there about inflation. The one that I hold to is from Cathie Woods. Unlike everybody else, she has some actual evidence, brings actual evidence to the table for her theory about inflation. And what she's saying is that we're not facing long-term secular inflation. It is a temporary inflation based off of, more based off of supply chain shocks than anything else. And I tend to agree with her. She has evidence for what she suggests. First of all, one of the main drivers of inflation was the price of oil. The Republicans have just taken over the House. They will probably put out an oil production bill in the United States, but it's doubtful whether it'll pass the Senate. And even if it does pass the Senate, I doubt Biden will sign it into law. So that would easily bring oil prices down if we pushed domestic production. But barring that, there's such a thing out there. You used to hear about peak oil, which meant everybody meant peak oil supply. What we're actually starting to see is peak oil demand. As of this hearing, 10% of the cars on the road are EV, electric vehicles. 10%. And that number is not shrinking, it is growing. So it's possible that long term, the trend in oil prices will trend downwards, whether we ramp up domestic production or not, because there is going to be a cap on oil demand. Now, oil demand is, the high prices of oil was one of the key drivers of inflation. The other thing that was driving inflation, long-term deflationary, is innovation. Innovation is a really big deflationary, long-term deflationary. It's for the long term. Innovation helps bring prices down a lot. Think of the last time you went to a store. You see this in your own life, and you saw like a really cool new high definition TV with I don't even know, with all the gizmos and the gadgets, and you saw it was priced at $3,000. You thought to yourself, well, I'll wait 2 years, and then it'll come down in price. And sure enough, 2 years later, it's down to somewhere between $500 and $700. That's because of innovation. Innovation has long-term and deflationary, always. So those are some of the key metrics that are going to be influencing the inflation outlook. And her estimation, and I tend to agree with her, inflation is not long-term secular inflation. It was short-term temporary inflation, which means the Fed is still, as of this hearing, talking aggressively, but that will end. Sometime in the next 4 or 5 months, the Fed will taper off. And once they start tapering off, money will start pouring back into crypto relatively quickly. Like I said, the long-term crypto is written in stone. The long-term prospects are pretty much set. More mass adoption, more use cases, more innovations, more corporate sponsorships, all of which is bullish for the long term. This is like being involved in crypto right now is like being involved in the internet circa 1997. You turn around 10 years and everybody had the internet. That's exactly where we are with crypto. 10 years from now, everybody's going to have crypto. Crypto's going to be involved in everything. So this is the best investing opportunity you will see in your lifetime. And I don't think anything has changed along those lines. We could be in a holding pattern for the next 3 to 5 months. Wouldn't surprise me. But also wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing bull market run-ups like what we saw last week. Why? Because it doesn't take much to move the needle in crypto. Some of the things you see double in price, you see something shoot up 40% in crypto. Look at the overall market cap. Overall market caps of a lot of these projects are minuscule. There's some as low as 200 million. It's nothing. It's like one guy could be a market maker for the entire project. So I say now is a good time to start investing. If you want to be safe, the marquee high name projects that you've already heard of, for the most part, those are all solid and safe investments. The ones I like the most: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, Polygon. There are others. I'll make videos about some of the ones that I'm looking at, some of the projects. There was a big run up in Fetch AI. AI is going to be one of the key industries moving forward. So there you have it. That's just a look at where we are now. I say now is a really good time if you have money sitting on the sidelines to put it in crypto. It's not investing advice. It's just where the money is going to be made in the near future, in the not too distant future. So there you have it, kids. That is all.